Hi, this is Shankar, and I have some time, so I'm making a small video which is on Navamsha, a predictive technique on Navamsha. It's a very small video, and if you apply this technique, it will help you in predicting better. It's just I've tried it. Please let me know how the results are. When we talk about Navamsha, Navamsha is an important chart. I do not subscribe to Navamsha being read without the D1 chart. I mean, it cannot be treated as an independent horoscope as some of the astrologers are trying to say. Or, it's also not right to read the D1 horoscope without the D9 horoscope. That is, you cannot, predict the results with the Navamsha. Navamsha is very important. Navamsha unlocks your gives you more precision, unlocks your the karmic destiny, which you have got a lot of debts to repay. So what is it exactly which is going to happen? There are 10 things which are shown by D1. So the D9 will tell you which are the exact things which can happen during the Dasha, Bhukti and the transit. So that is very important, and also it's a very important horoscope after your 35th, 36th year. It tells you, the second part of your life. It is a very important Navamsha. I'm just trying to cover Navamsha is very important for looking at marriage aspects. Look at the Lagnesh, look at the 7th house, very critical houses to be seen. The planets, which is a lot of Lagnesh, lot of Saptamesh, where are they placed? And for men, the dasha of Shukra, I mean, how Shukra, kitna acha hai, kitna kharab hai Navamsha mein, wo dekhiye. So that is very important. What is the fate of Shukra, how strong, and for in a female horoscope, look at Jupiter, which will tell you, how Jupiter is placed in D1 and how Jupiter is placed in D9 for female horoscopy, and for male, how D1, Venus is in D1 and how Venus is in D9, and then you make a vector out of it and come to a conclusion. Now, coming back to my thing of predictive techniques, Navamsha, basically, we all know how Navamsha originates. I mean, we have a nakshatra lord which is at 13 point, which governs about 13.20 degrees, and then each pada is governed by 3.20 degrees, and each pada has got an ownership of a sign. I mean, there is a sign which owns each pada. Now, whenever a planet, let's say Mercury, is 3 degrees 20 minutes in Mithun Rashi, if it is 3 degrees 20 minutes in Mithun Rashi, it is in the third pada of Mrikshira, which is governed by Mars. But at 3.2 degrees, the lordship is owned by Venus. By Venus. So each pada has got an ownership of a sign. Each planet which fall into a pada, that pada is owned by a sign, and therefore the lord of that becomes important, and that gets placed in the Navamsha. That is why when we talk about Vargottam, it is that that is the lord of that, the sign lord of that particular pada where that planet falls is the same. So it becomes Uttam in Varg. So it is known as Vargottam. So it becomes a strong thing. So from the same analogy and from the same logic, what I would like to put forth before you is that at that particular point where the planet is placed, the sign becomes very important. So you have the Navamsha chart where you have various planets placed in different signs. Now, and you have the D1 chart where you have, of course, the ascendant and the various planets which are placed. So what I want you to do is, and what my logic is, that when you suppose you have an Aries chart where the ascendant is Aries, and you have Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, and Aries you have say Mars and Venus in Aries in the ascendant, and in the Navamsha you have in Aries you have, for example, hypothetically, you have Jupiter there, right? So what you have to do is put that Aries sign, the Aries sign which has Jupiter in Navamsha, and it has got Jupiter there in Aries sign in the Navamsha. Put that also in your D1 chart. That is Aries to Aries, Aries of Navamsha and Aries of D1. Suppose you have Jupiter in Aries in your D9 chart, that Jupiter will have an impact. See the impact of that Jupiter, which is in Navamsha, put it in the D1 chart, and then see the impact. That is, there is the impact of Mars and Venus will also be there in Jupiter. The Jupiter will be transiting over your Mars and Venus. That is important. So the Jupiter would be transiting over your Mars and Venus. That is critical. So suppose in Cancer you have, let us say, you have a planet Scorpio. You have Saturn there in the D1 chart. assuming you have Saturn there in the D1 chart. And in the D9 chart, as in the Navamsha chart, you have, let's say, Mars. So in Scorpio itself. So you have Saturn in Scorpio in D1 chart, and you have in Navamsha, you have Mars in Scorpio. So put that Mars, that is Scorpio to Scorpio. I mean, you put that Mars over the Saturn. So the effect of that Scorpio sign will not only be by Saturn, but there will be an impact of Mars. And you have to see as if Mars is energizing Saturn. That is, Mars is going over Saturn. It is very important in the Brigunari principle also, how the planets gets energized. Which planet goes over which planet. That is, here the Mars is giving its power, positive or negative, to Saturn. Not that Saturn is giving its power. Saturn is in D1 chart, as I explained to you, in Scorpio, right? And you have Mars in the D9 chart, that is in Navamsha chart, in Scorpio. So there is an impact of, in your life, in Scorpio, of both Saturn and Mars. Over here also, you have to be very important that it is, since Saturn is there in your D1 chart, it is the impact of Mars on Saturn, not vice versa. Not the whole predictive methods will change. So you have to see the impact of Mars over Saturn. Now, if you reverse the position, that is, you have Mars in the D1 chart and Saturn in the D9 chart, both in the sign of Scorpio. Then, since Mars is in D1, then Saturn will energize Mars. So, when you are looking at the dasha, the bhukti, and the transits, so do it in this fashion, and you will get better results. Of course, Brigunadi principles, which is a part of Brihat Parashar, all of them come from the same. They are there, you know, and we have picked out different nadis, which we try to keep on explaining. I mean, even KP system is a nadi principle which has been explained properly by KP, and he's told you to focus on these issues, so that you don't scatter your mind too much. So it's basically the same thing. So it's nothing to do with Brigunadi or Brihat Parashar. They were all saints, and they were all rishis, and they have the same thing. They have tried to explain it in different ways. So that is how you have to see the impact of Navamsha on your Rashi chart while analyzing anything. Even when you are analyzing Karaks, when you are analyzing Kartatva, when you are analyzing transit, or when you are analyzing, and I also use it when I rotate my Jupiter, I rotate Saturn, and try to come at results by the Brigunadi principle. So this is one thing we try to apply. If you have any queries, I hope I will be able to explain. I'm not a professional astrologer, so as on date, and I try to explain the things in my way. I hope you've understood. If you have not, you can get in touch with me at connectingminds@gmail.com. I'll be happy to reply as soon as I get time. Thanks, and bye for now. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.